Is crossing a good way to score a goal? I have no idea. That's why today I'm going to dive into the research. We're going to go through this together to figure out if crossing is an effective way to score a goal, or is it a waste of time and energy for the attacking team. This is especially prudent for me because I love the U.S. men's national team, and we recently just played Uzbekistan to a 3-0 victory, but as part of that victory, we crossed the ball a lot, and it was very ineffective. It was frustrating as well because it seemed like it was the only attacking strategy that we were using. And then going into our friendly against Oman, which is our next match, Brenden Aaronson gave an interview after practice saying that the U.S. was actually practicing on crossing more and getting more crosses into the box. So let's see, is crossing a good way to score a goal or not? I personally don't think so. That's my hypothesis going into this. Let's actually figure it out together. Hey everyone, my name is Jake. I'm a UEFA licensed coach and I absolutely love this stuff. So I want to do a little experiment before we actually go into it. Let me know down below in the comments if you think crossing is going to turn out to be an effective way of scoring goals or not. There's actually a good amount of primary research that's already been done about crossing and its effectiveness in goal scoring. And there was actually an article from The Athletic in 2021 which had some of the exact information that I was looking for. And if you did write in the comments down below that crossing is a good way to score a goal, well, to all of my triple G's out there looking for an answer, the evidence does not look good. In the top 5 leagues across the last 5 years, crossing is effective in goal scoring, maybe 1 in 75 chances. And even if you extend that to be a cross and plus 6 seconds, so for accounting for kind of the chaos that commences after a cross goes into the box, you're still looking at 1 goal scored in more than 50 crosses made. Even if we look at some of the best crossers in the game, someone like Trent Alexander-Arnold, while it may look like he gets a lot of assists from crosses, and he does, and he is also an excellent crosser of the ball, better than most, he also takes a lot of crosses, and this is something that doesn't really show up in the stat line, but he has a lot of inaccurate crosses and crosses that don't result in a goal. He is just crossing a lot. And even though he's a great crosser of the ball, better than everyone else on the pitch, it doesn't really reflect in the goals scored from his crosses. And all the evidence says here, including for players like Trent Alexander-Arnold or someone like James Ward-Prowse, someone who's really great at a dead ball strike, it's really just the amount that you cross the ball. It doesn't matter if you're great at crossing or not. It's really just cross and inshallah. I mean, it's really just cross and pray here, hoping that the ball finds someone, or whether the defender doesn't get the ball out of the box or not, that the ball will find feet to your attacker and they'll be able to score. It doesn't matter if you're good at crossing or not. Crossing is not really a great way to score goals. Now, I will say, crossing obviously has been around for as long as the game has been, 150 years plus, and crossing is effective in making sure that it keeps the defense honest. So for the U.S., I didn't really think it made sense because the way that we're trying to play is playing through the defense to be able to use possession to draw defenders out of those spaces and then make those runs into those spaces or use those as passing lanes to get into the box. Now, crossing can be good and effective in that strategy to be able to mix it up, to kind of diversify the amount and the ways that you're trying to attack the defense so that it draws them out into those spaces, and maybe you're able to play into those possession style attacking grids a little bit more. I mean, even teams like Manchester City still cross the ball about 17% of the time. Now, if we're getting up into like the 2021 Inter Milan teams, they were crossing like 40% of the time in terms of their goal chance creation. So I'm reading all this research, right? I'm reading articles, I'm reading The Athletic, and if I relate this to the U.S. men's national team, and especially the way that we played against Uzbekistan, it just doesn't make too much sense, right? We have Fuller and Balogun, who's playing the number 9. He's not really great in the air. He's strong in a lot of things, but heading the ball and finding crosses is not really the way that he's going to score most of his goals. If Ricardo Pepi is starting the game and that's how we play, maybe I can find less faults in that. But really with Balogun on the pitch, we don't necessarily have someone that's dominant in the air, except for Weston McKennie, who's a midfielder. So unless we are driving the ball to the baseline and Weston McKennie is making that late run into the box, it is kind of useless for the U.S. It's really just hoping and praying that the cross comes off. The other thing to consider too is that Pulisic is playing on the left, which is an inverted position for him. And all that means is that Pulisic will prefer to drift further into the inside of the pitch rather than go wide and cross from those wide areas. So while Weah can do that from the right, he is really there to stretch the defense and get him behind. And again, unless you're driving to the goal line and having some of those cutback crosses, which can be a really effective way to score on those crosses, then it's not worth it for me. I think what happened though is that it was a safe way and a strategy to fall back on when nothing else is working. I think especially when Luca De La Torre went down injured, Tanner Tessman came into that spot. That's a really tough position because our game plan was built around having Luca De La Torre as kind of the shuttling number 6 to sit in front of the defense and connect the defense and attack. Yunus Musah and Weston McKennie can find those passing lanes in possession. But when Tanner Tessman comes in, we don't necessarily have that, and we kind of rest on what feels comfortable to us. And if you've ever played the game, if you ever coached, if you kind of run out of ideas, if you get out of that comfort zone for yourself, the comfort zone to come back to is getting into open space in the wide areas and crossing it in, hoping it finds a head or a foot of the attacker. I think that's what happened with the US, is we kind of lost our way in the way that we wanted to attack and the strategy that we were using to attack. And that's what happened. But to hear now that we are in practice working on our crosses, working on getting more crosses into the box, that's a little scary to hear. Now, you all know me, right? I am not a Greg Berhalter hater. I have nothing against this man. I don't necessarily think he's the greatest coach on the earth or that he was the perfect hire for getting us into 2026 and beyond. But at the same time, it's moments like these where I really just start to err on the side of caution that Greg Berhalter needs to figure out other ways to expose defenses. And it can't be the fact that for 5 or 6 years under his tenure, if we go to Copa America 2026, we still haven't figured out a way to unlock defenses that are sitting back against us. That is an issue. That is a little bit scary for me. Now, scoring goals is all about putting yourself in a better position than the defense. And crossing for me just doesn't do that. And if the US is going to rest on this as a way to attack resting defenses that are sitting in their own box with 8 players in their box ready to defend crosses, then it's going to be very difficult to find goals. I don't think it really takes advantage of all the strengths that we have on this team. And in general, in football worldwide, right, whether you look at Man City or whether you look at Inter Milan, crossing is not going to get you the results that you're looking for. And unless you're playing a 4-4-2 with Peter Crouch as your striker, probably not going to happen either. So in modern football, with the way that teams are playing, with the way that teams are attacking, crossing is probably going to see less and less of the share of the way that teams create goal-scoring chances, especially for the U.S. national team right now. I think we need to get away from this. We need to go to possession. And even if it's hard to unlock defenses that are sitting back, it's still good practice for us against teams like Oman or Uzbekistan to at least try to play some of those risky passes. To, if we're about to take a cross, pick your head up and recycle the ball back to the top of the box and see what happens from there. Guys and gals, non-binary pals, let me know down below in the comments what you think of this. Is crossing a good way to score or not? The evidence says no. I say no. Maybe you say yes, and that's totally fine. Make sure to subscribe to the channel for more soccer content like this. I love you. I'll see you next time. Peace.